Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Mangione, and I'm the founder and CEO here of Connect AI. And I would like to talk to you a little bit about our platform today and what we've been working on and how you can apply it to your business. Connect AI is the first platform that uses artificial intelligence to help you in every facet of the content creation process, from the research to the creation to the publication, and also afterwards to learning your audience to make sure that you're always delivering the content they want to read and click on and interact with. So we are here to help you create engaging, shareable content. And we do that by mixing human intelligence with the latest breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. We have been working on this platform for the past 4 years, and it really came about because I was also a small business owner. I was going to school at Arizona State University. I was working in the School of Earth and Space Exploration on machine learning for extrasolar bodies and rovers and the technology that we would put on those planets. And so, rovers for Mars, rovers for the moon, perhaps rovers for asteroids. But they all had one thing in common, which is these rovers needed to have some semblance of intelligence. They needed to be able to reason, they needed to be able to learn, they needed to be able to handle their terrain. And for this, we really relied on machine learning. Now, while I was at school, I was also trying to run my software startup company, Connect.io, and it was a very difficult challenge. I was trying to go to school, I was trying to be a good student, and I was trying to make progress in my research and write the papers I was required to write. And that whole time, I was also trying to run the company. So the worst part for me was when I had to produce the long-form content, the blogs and articles and newsletter snippets that we needed to send out, once a month and sometimes a couple times a month. So I applied what we were learning at Arizona State University, and I applied the concepts and the approach that we had been adopting for the rovers to creating the content for me. I thought, what, if we are putting rovers on Mars, there's no reason that we can't also create content that people want to read. So that leads us to where we are here. So let me explain to you a little bit about how this platform and how this process works. It starts by learning about your business and learning about your audience. So we start with an initial walkthrough. We learn your keywords. We learn a little bit about your audience, about your likes and your dislikes during this interview. And then we go through an onboarding process. During the onboarding process, we learn a little bit about the audience, and we start to help you to develop your initial plan for content. If you don't have a marketing funnel, we help you develop the initial marketing funnel, because that's really important. We need to know what we're doing. We need to have a goalpost and a roadmap if we're going to be successful in producing the right content that people want to read and click on. So to get started here, let me show you a little bit about the platform. This is, of course, our lovely home page. And let's go ahead and log in here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and log into my Connect.io. And let me just go ahead and show them that I'm not a robot. Hooray! I'm not a robot. So this is your content dashboard. Every morning what we do is we deliver a hybrid selection of content here for you to read and to approve or decline. The content itself actually comes from the onboarding process and from these keywords. On the left here, you can see these keywords are article keywords. In the middle, we have our hashtags that we're going to use for to expand the reach of our articles and to do adjacency analysis. And on the left, on the far right, we actually have our image tags. These image tags are the initial suggestions for the system to pull images for your article. So right now I only have 4 articles. I'm going to go ahead and fetch some more. And what the system's doing right now is it's going out and it's fetching articles from a wide variety of sources. Our primary source is social media, based on these keywords that we have developed for you and we implement during the onboarding process. We start to go out and look in social media. What we really want to know is, what are people talking about? What are they engaging with? What are some interesting articles that have been liked, shared, and commented on? The idea then is that if there's something out there that people are already interested in, that your audience is also going to be interested in the same thing. So take that, put your own spin on it, and write your own thing about it, and we're going to help you do that. So everything happens in the background with Connect AI. You can see that we're already going out and we're already starting to fetch some of these latest articles. It's a slow process. It could take up to about five minutes if you're fetching more. So click it once and just kind of hang out. But instead of waiting, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select one. Now, the first thing to do when you see these articles is to say no to the ones that you don't like. So maybe, for example, and I have nothing against TechRadar, but let's just say I don't want to see any more TechRadar. I'm going to go ahead and say no. Now, in the background, what's going to happen is we're going to keep a record of all the things you said no to, and we're going to use that to teach the system about the things that you might not want to see. Maybe my audience isn't really interested in AWS, so I'm going to go ahead and click no to that as well. But maybe my audience is indeed interested in the crashing of apps from the Facebook SDK in the most recent update. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. TikTok, other things like that. Now, in the background, this is where the magic really starts to happen. The system's going to go out and it's going to read and create not just a summary, but it's going to create its own thoughts around an abstract of what it read. And we call this abstractive summarization, and it's done already. And during this abstractive summarization, what the system does is it goes out and grabs that content, it reads it, and it tries to summarize what it just read. But it doesn't try to summarize verbatim, and that's the important part. We use AI to actually try to understand the content of what was on that site, and then we try to rephrase it. It's a process very much like asking your friend to go out and read an article for you, and then tell you about what he just read. So we do that in the exact same way. Here is an article that we had summarized and we had looked up a bit earlier. This content here in the center that you see here, this is what the system had come back with. When we asked it to go out and to read it and tell us what it read, it picks the top number of points. It depends on the size of the article, of course, but it comes up usually somewhere between 10 and 20 of the top points that it read. And we're going to use that as a basis. But the important part is, while it did that, what it also did is it read that same article and it came up with summaries for Twitter. It came up with something that I can post to LinkedIn. It came up with a long-form blog post, and in this case, we use the Ghost blog platform. So it came up with a long-form Ghost blog post, and it also came up with a Facebook post. So one fell swoop, I have all these platforms already taken care of, and you can see here that the whole process took, same thing with this one, and the whole process takes just a few minutes, and we are ready to get started with our content. Now, I'm going to go back to this one here, and the first thing here is we're going to want to take a look at this image. This image is the anchor image. It's going to become the center point for our blog. So what we really want to do is we want to make sure that this image is something that we want everyone to see. It's going to be everywhere: social media, your blog, all the snippets and summaries. It's going to be in your tags and your texts. So this is an important image. So the article is about how the developers, the NHS COVID apps, tried to block rival trackers. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to click this cloud, and this cloud is a hybrid search that we developed. We pre-check licenses, and we have to date about 4 million images. And we make sure that we source our images from places that have the broadest possible licenses for the images. So they're royalty free, free to use. Some require attribution. If they require attribution, we automatically add that attribution to your post. And so I'm going to go ahead and type COVID-19. And let's just see what our search comes up with. Now, we're always updating this. We update these images on a daily basis, so you can always make sure that there is a fresh supply of these. Now, I've got a lot, and we dynamically load more as you scroll down, but I really kind of like this one, so we're going to go with this one. Now the system's went ahead and it's gone out and it's fetched this image, and you can see it here. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look, and we're going to go ahead and address this content here. Now, what we have done is we try to mimic the writing process as close as possible. So if you see here, we have our initial URL for the initial piece of content. Here we have what we call our source tracker, and just like regular writers, when they write an article, they usually have more than one source. So if you're like me, I might have 5 or 10 sources that I'm going to use when I'm going to create an article, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to populate all those here. Now, right now, for the purposes of this demo, I only have one, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these, but it's available for the same purpose later on. Now, the next thing that you'll notice is this already has some content in it, and this is content that comes from the AI itself. So what we need to do is we need to treat everything you see here. This should be treated just like you would treat a summary or an outline. Now, the areas of yellow here are areas where we detected an overlap with the original article, and we don't want that. This needs to be our own content. It needs to be our own words. And so what we're going to do is we recommend taking what you see here and turning this into an outline. And use this like an outline. Don't use it directly, but use it as an outline. Use it as inspiration for what you're going to talk about. All right, thank you, and welcome back. We are done typing this up and using that outline that we just went over. This resulted in what you see here. It took about 15 minutes. And, oh, look at that. I made a typo here. So it took about 15 minutes, and you can see that there's no yellow. There's no overlap with the original article. This is all my words, and I've taken this and I've made it something that I am going to be proud of showing my audience. Once I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and save this progress one final time. And I'm going to approve this post. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to make sure that that this represents something I want to see. Okay, this Twitter looks good. This LinkedIn needs a little bit of work. All right, one moment. Let's go ahead and fix this LinkedIn. All right, welcome back. So we briefly went through this this article here and created a small snippet. Now the idea here is that we're going to post this content to our own blog, and all of the rest of the posts on social media, they're going to use the hashtags and the links, but we're going to drive all that traffic to us. So this needs to be a small enough snippet so that people don't get discouraged in reading a whole long post, and it should engage them and drive them to your own blog or platform. So for this, we've chosen only really about 4 sentences, just enough to catch their interest, and we're going to automatically include that link to our blog when the system goes ahead and posts this. So I'm going to approve this post. I'm going to go ahead and take that content I just created for LinkedIn, and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to save this. I'm going to use the exact same thing for Facebook. It's a nice short snippet, and that's all. So now I've went through and I have approved all of my posts. Now from here, what I do is I just add this to the queue. Now, if you have your system set to automatically post your content for you, or have it post on a schedule, then it will post on the schedule and nothing else is required. If you don't, then you have to manually click this, and that's it. That is all she wrote. So within the process of about 10 minutes, depending on the use of the system is going to go out and post this to the blog. The blog is going to come back with a link and the content, and I'm going to use that content to spread across social media. Welcome back, everyone. Now, it's been about 5 minutes, and you can see here that our blog queue listing has disappeared from our queue, and this number 1 has appeared in the social queue. That means that the system was successful in posting the content. So if I go ahead and I go over to Connect.io's blog, you can see this right here. So here's our content. Here is what we posted. Here is our image that we chose. Here's the content that we wrote. It's optional, but we always include links back to the original article. And that's it. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and go over to our social queue. You'll find that we now are queued up and ready to go out to all of our social media platforms. All we have to do is click post now, and that's it. And just like that, the process is done. Now from here on out, within about 5 to 10 minutes after the system had time to go out and post all of your content, you're going to see it appear here. So here in your completed posts is your listing of posts by date and by time that you posted. And if you go ahead and click into it, you can see that we actually collect all of the URLs. So the post URLs are as important as anything. We need to be able to watch the content and see how it performs. And that's pretty much it. So from here, the system's going to watch and learn. Your articles are going to get, and the selections are going to get better. And we even have very soon this analytics area coming out that's going to allow you to see all the data that we've collected from watching the posts, from seeing when they perform, and also from watching how people interact with them. So we will be able to give you a good sense of the content that you're going to need, and a good sense of what works and when it works. All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time for the next video.